So I wanted to take you along with me on this transformation to magenta. Look at that video on the left. Oh my gosh, I'm giving you a damn mess, but still giving you realness. This is a platinum blonde wig from UniWigs.com, and we have to get into this. This is the natural way Remy human hair. As you guys can see, the cap construction is pretty simple. It allows you to have free parting, and that's the benefit of a full lace wig. But this is also glueless, so you have your 2 combs at the front along with 2 clips, an additional comb at the nape with adjustable straps, so you have the utmost security. And this is a pretty comfortable fitting cap. It's 22 inches, and you know I couldn't stay with that color, so I'm going to be using Adore. Their dye is very popular here on YouTube, so I just use that as a guide. But I wanted to also bring in the Clairol collection because this is very well known here on YouTube. Now I know this percentage that I'm giving you guys is not out of 100. I don't know what was going on, but just bear with me. When I first began mixing colors for the unit, I focused on mostly the magenta or fuchsia plum, because at the very ends of the unit, I wanted it to be pink, very vibrant, a very bright color. And as I inch up the unit, you know, making sure to evenly coat all of the strands. So that means you may have to flip the unit over, comb it, brush it, whatever. You can even put your wig on a styrofoam head. It might make it easier. I did not do that. You see I'm struggling. But as I move further up the unit, I'm incorporating more of the mocha, which has nice, rich red undertones, which is really great to help deepen the magenta color. So you have a nice transition as you go towards the dark root. Again, I was trying to replicate the ombre or the gradient, and I didn't want there to be too much of a drastic difference between my root color and the root color of the wig that I was wearing. So again, add more mocha to darken that magenta, especially once you get near the hairline. And I was just testing out the color on the plastic. I definitely recommend doing that to make sure that the color is what you want, because once it's on there, I mean, you can mix it, but it's there. And again, I'm trying to get into all of the crevices, you know, and here is where you guys get to see that very rich chocolate mocha color. And in some parts, it creates like this deep red cherry, which was so pretty. I just love the color range and the color spectrum on this unit. Now, I will say when I was combing the unit during this process, I noticed some shedding. That was the biggest downfall. It kind of made me a little bit nervous, but I got through it. And I also put a little bit of avocado oil on the unit just before I let it stand for the hour. I wanted this to be a very moisture-enriched environment. And after the hour, I went and rinsed the unit in cool but lukewarm water. I was very surprised at all the dye in the sink. So if you're anyone like me, you have like a white or light colored sink, just use hydrogen peroxide to get the dye off the, you know, staining in the sink. And I deep conditioned the hair. I did about 2 rounds, added some more avocado oil and more deep conditioner, and let it stand for 30 minutes. I wanted to bring moisture back into the unit so that it could be shiny and just have a beautiful luster and brilliance, because again, this color is striking. Now, okay, so I know the hair looks a little bit damp. That's because I added some mousse, which I definitely recommend when tweezing the hairline. Now, UniWigs did a really good job in trying to mimic a more natural hairline because they thinned out the knots towards the front of the lace. And I also advise tweezing apart so that you can widen it so that it matches your own natural parting space. But be very careful, you don't want to tear the lace. This may cause shedding, so be alarmed. If you don't want shedding, you might want to skip this step. Now, when you're trimming your lace, it's best to trim close to the knots. But if this is your first go around, I would suggest cutting further away from the hairline, and then once you're more comfortable, ease into your comfort zone of how close in proximity you want to be to the knots. But again, when you're cutting, once you're comfortable, you want to create a jagged line because your hairline is not straight across. So you see how my hands are moving back and forth with the scissors? That's what you want to do. We're trying to create a natural look. And so here I am using the Got To Be Glued method. It's all over YouTube, so definitely search it. And this is how I lay my wigs without glue. And of course, I treat my human hair units like they're my own hair. I use a heat protectant. This one is by Fantasia. That's my all-time favorite. And then I like to follow up with Jane Carter Solution Nourish and Shine. This will get your units super silky and shiny. It's one of my favorite products. And as you guys can see, I'm flat ironing my hair and I'm using a brush in some instances, and I may switch between using a small tooth comb because I want to get every strand, every individual strand, so I can do at least 1 to 2 passes. I don't want to put too much heat on this hair, especially in the beginning, because we went through extensive processing. And this is how the unit looks. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. Of course, I could have done a few things different, but I love the color. I love the gradient. And if you guys are interested, please don't wait. Go to UniWigs.com right now. I'll have the information in the description box.